Hello guys and welcome to my channel. So in this video we'll be doing problem solving session. We'll be solving some of the advanced and mains level problems, okay? And we'll be doing variety of problems in this sessions, in this problem solving session. See, doing same type of problems multiple times won't yield to a result. Once you have got the concept, move on to different variety of questions, okay? So here I'll be trying to bring you different varieties of questions that you haven't seen or maybe have seen but not done. Okay, so we'll start with the first question. The first question says if a, b and c are positive real numbers, then we have to find the minimum value of the given expression. Okay, so in this question what's given is in the denominator all the denominators in three terms are complex quantity. So if we take LCM and multiply, so it will become a very lengthy expression. Okay, so we'll try to reduce our workload. So in this type of question, what we can do to simplify our equations is we'll try to make the denominator simpler. Okay, and how to make the denominator simpler? What can we do is we can take a plus 2b plus c as any other variable x. I have done with the first denominator. I have taken first denominator as another variable x. Similarly, I'll do for other two. That is a plus b plus 2c is equal to y. And lastly, a plus b plus 3c equals to z. Okay, now what we have got is we have got three equations in terms of ABC, okay, representing them in terms of x, y, z. So from here, what we can do is we can find out the value of a, b and c in terms of x, y and z. Okay, so if I name this equation as equation number 1, this equation as equation number 2 and this equation as equation number 3. So if we subtract 2 from 3, what will we get? C is equal to z minus y. So we got our first expression from here. We got the value of C from this one, subtracting 2 from 3. Next what we'll do is we'll try to find out the value of A and B also. Okay, so if I subtract second equation from first one, what do we get? B is equal to B minus C is equal to X minus Y, right? If we subtract equation number 2 from equation number 1, A and A cancels out, 2B minus B, B, C minus 2C minus C, and lastly X minus Y. Okay, so from here we are getting B is equal to C plus X minus Y. And what was C? So you'll get X minus 2Y plus Z, right? If we take C to the right hand side, we'll be getting B as X minus 2Y plus Z. Once we have got the value of B and C, you can find out the value of A. Just substitute in any of the expressions 1, 2 or 3. So we'll substitute in 2. So we'll get A is equal to Y minus B. Y minus B will be X minus 2Y plus Z, right? And minus 2C. Minus 2 times of C was Z minus Y. So from here what we are getting is A is equal to minus X, right? Minus X, Y plus 2Y plus Y plus 5Y. And lastly minus minus Z minus 2Z minus 3Z, right? So once we have got the values of A, B and C, what we'll do is we'll try to write down these expressions. Okay, so what will the first expression become? A plus 3C. So A will be minus X plus 5Y minus 3Z, right? Plus 3C. Plus 3C means plus 3Z minus 3Y and whole by the first denominator term we took it as X. So this whole by X. Moving on to the next term. Next term will be 4b. 4b will be 4 times of x minus 8y plus 4z whole by y. And lastly, the third term will be, this will be minus 8c. Minus 8c will be 8z minus 8y by z. Got it? Now what we'll do is we'll try to separate out the denominator with each and every term. Okay, so from here what we are getting is minus x by x, that will be minus 1, 5y minus 3y, 2y by x, I can add this as plus 2y by x, minus 3z plus 3z cancels out, so first term is done. From second term what we are getting is 4x by y minus 8 plus 4z by y, right? This is from the second term. And from the third term what we'll get is minus 8 plus 8y by z. Yes or no? So if I write this expression in much more simpler form, what will we get is 2y by x plus 4x by y. Okay, 2y by x plus 4x by y, 4z by y plus 8y by z minus 17. Yes or no? Okay. So what we are getting is, we are getting four terms. Now in these type of expression, what do we generally do is, we try to use am and am greater than equal to gm. Okay, so if we use am greater than equal to gm in all these four, if we try to use am greater than equal to gm, what will be the problem there? The problem there will be, see, when we use am greater than equal to gm to find the minimum value, when we get is when am is equal to gm, and when am is equal to gm, all the terms are equal to each other. Okay, so if we apply for all the four terms, okay, and we try to make them equal, so the condition will not satisfy, they can't come equal. So what should we do now is, we can take these two terms together and these two terms together. Okay, for these two terms, if I want to find out the minimum value, what will be it? This plus this by 2 greater than equal to, okay, so I can write 2y by x plus 4x by y greater than equal to 2 times of 2y by x into 4x by y whole raised to power 1 by 2. Yes or no? So here x and x get cancelled out, y and y get cancelled out. What you are getting is root 8. Root 8 is nothing but 2 root 2. So from here what you are getting is 4 root 2. Though, so the first expression is greater than equal to 4 root 2. Same thing if you do for the second one. Second one will be z and z get cancelled out, y and y get cancelled out. 32 root over 32 is, root over 32 will be what? 4 root 2. 4 root 2 into 2, that will give you this expression greater than equal to 8 root 2. So this expression is greater than equal to 8 root 2. This expression is greater than equal to 4 root 2. So if you try to find out the minimum value of this whole expression, what will be the minimum value of this whole expression? This will be 4 root 2 plus 8 root 2 minus 17. Or this will be what? 12 root 2 minus 17. Clear? Okay. So moving on to the next question. What does the next question is? How many ordered pairs of positive integers m and n are there such that the least common multiple of m and n is 2 raised to power 3 into 7 raised to power 4 into 13 raised to power 13. Okay, so we'll start with the solution. Okay, what we want to find is, we want to find the ordered pairs of m and n. Okay, and this has to be the LCM. So if this has to be the LCM, what type of okay, if I say that m is having power of 2 as x and n is having power of 2 as y, so either of x or y has to be 3 for LCM to be 2 raised to power 3. Yes or no? Either x or y has to be 3 if m and n, if in their LCM 2 raised to power 3 is an element. So first we'll consider, let's say m is 2 raised to power 3. So what can be the values of n? N can be 2 raised to power 0 or 2 raised to power 1 or 2 raised to power 2 or 2 raised to power, sorry, it will not be 2 raised to power 0. Either it can be 2 raised to power 1, 2 raised to power 2 or 2 raised to power 3. Yes or no? Again, if I take n as 2 raised to power 3, what can be the values of m? It will be what? 2 raised to power 1, 2 raised to power 2 and 2 raised to power 3. Okay, 2 raised to power 0 also we'll consider here, and here also 2 raised to power 0. So here 2 raised to power 0, 2 raised to power 1, 2 raised to power 2 and 2 raised to power 3. Here 2 raised to power 3, if we consider n as 2 raised to power 3, 2 raised to power 1, 2 raised to power 2, 2 raised to power 0 and 2 raised to power 3. But 2 raised to power 3, we have already considered the case here where we took m also having 2 raised to a factor 2 raised to power 3 and n also having a factor 2 raised to power 3. So if we want 2 raised to power 3 in the LCM, right, how many possibilities are there with m and n? So when m is, we have taken m as raised to power 3, we are getting 4 possibilities and 3 possibilities from here. So total possibilities we are getting here is 7, right? So this was just for 3, that is 2 must have power 3 and 7 must have power 4 and 13 must have power 13. So we are done with 2 raised to power 3. So to get 2 raised to power 3 as an LCM, we have 7 ways. Now for getting 7 raised to power 4 as LCM, again we'll do the same thing. Either we'll take m as 7 raised to power 4 and n can be 7 raised to power 0, 7 raised to power 1, 7 raised to power 2, 7 raised to power 3 and 7 raised to power 4. Or if we take n as 7 raised to power 4, m can be 7 raised to power 0, 7 raised to power 1, 7 raised to power 2, 7 raised to power 3 and 7 raised to power 4 also. But that case we have already considered 7 raised to power 4 here and 7 raised to power 4 here. So from here, how many cases in total we are getting? We are getting 9 cases, right? And similarly, if you do for 13 raised to power 13, how many cases will you get? You'll get whatever the power is there, you'll get 2 into power, that is 13 plus 1 cases from here. See, if here power was 3, number of cases were 3 into 2 plus 1. Power was 4, number of cases were 4 into 2 plus 1. Here power is 13, so number of cases will be 13 into 2 plus 1. That will be what? 14? 27. So if you multiply these, you'll get your answer. Understood or not? Okay. Moving on to the next one. Next one is from binomial theorem. We have to find the value of 30C0 plus 30C0 into 20C10 plus 31C1, 19C9 and so on. Okay, now if you look at the expression carefully, what's happening here is, here the powers are gradually increasing. The upper index of NCR is gradually increasing and here it is gradually decreasing. Okay, so if you remember the various expansions in binomial, when does the upper index usually increases? If you try to remember the expansion 1 minus x raised to power minus n. If you try to remember 1 minus x raised to power minus n, what do we get here is 1 plus nx. Nx we can write nc1x plus n into n plus 1 by 2 factorial x square and so on, right? Power of x keeps on gradually increasing and this will be, next term will be n into n plus 1 into n plus 2 by 3 factorial x cube and so on. So if you look at this term, if I multiply this by n minus 1 factorial and divide this by n minus 1 factorial, so I can write this term as what? N plus 1 C2. Similarly, the next term, the binomial coefficient of the next term will come out to be n plus 2 C3 and the term will be x cube, and the next term will be n plus 3 C4 x raised to power 4 and so on. Yes. So what we want here is, we want 30C0. So here I can, instead of 1 I can write this as NC0. Instead of 1, what I have done is I have written this as NC0. So from where do we start? We are starting from 30. We are starting from 30. So what I'll do is I'll try to take the value of x, value of n here as 31. If I take value of n here as 31, I can write this as what? I can write this as 31C0 plus 31C1 plus 32C2 x square plus 33C3 x cube and so on, right? Again, one more term I am taking, 1 minus x raised to power minus 11. If I write 1 minus x raised to power minus 11, what will we get here is 11C0 plus 11C1x plus 12C2x square plus 13C3 x cube and so on. Okay, and somewhere around here what we'll be getting is 10C10 x raised to power 10 and so on, and somewhere around here we'll be getting 40C10 x raised to power 10. Okay, now what we want is, we want this number 40C10 to get multiplied with what? 10C10. 10C10, right? 10C10 is nothing but 1. So instead of this 11C0, I can write this as 10C10. And instead of this 31C0, I can also write it as 30C0. I want this number to get multiplied with 10C10. So what should we do? If we multiply these both, so what will we get? 1 minus x raised to power. What will be the power? Minus 42. Yes or no? the power will come out as minus 42, right? And if we look at the coefficient of x raised to power 10 in this multiplication, so when will you get x raised to power 10? When this 30c0 gets multiplied with 10c10, 31c1 gets multiplied with 11c9, 32c2 gets multiplied with 12c8, and so on. So here what we'll be getting is, in place of, in the right hand side, coefficient of x raised to power 10 will get as 30c0 into 20c10. This will come out as 20c10, right? Next term will be 30c1 into 19c9. If you just look at the term before this, it will be 19c9 x raised to power 9. When it gets multiplied with this, you'll get x raised to power 10. Again, the next term will be what? Sorry, this will be 31c1. Next will be 32c2, 18c8, and so on. And when you reach here 40c10, so when this gets multiplied with this 11c0 or 11c0, we have already written as 10c10. So you'll again get x raised to power 10. So we can write this as 40c10 into 10c10. So in the right hand side, we have got what we required. Yes or no? If we compare the coefficient of x raised to power 10 in multiplication of 1 minus x raised to power minus 31 and 1 minus x raised to power minus 11. So just now one thing is left, is what we need to do is we need to find the coefficient of x raised to power 10 in the left hand side. Okay, so how do we find the coefficient of x raised to power r for 1 minus x raised to power? So if we have 1 minus x raised to power minus n, and if I ask you what will be the coefficient of x raised to power r, this is what? N plus r minus 1 cr. Yes, this is n plus r minus 1 cr. So from here, your n is 42. So what will be coefficient of x raised to power 10? 42. R is 10 minus 1 c 10. Yes or no? So this will give you what? 51 c 10. This will be the final answer for this series. Okay, got it? Moving on to the next question. In the next question, what we are having is, we have a question from binomial, and we have to find sum of the given series. Okay, S is given to you as 21c0. S is given to you as 21c0 minus 21c1 plus 21c2 and so on till 21c10. Okay, now when most of the students, they make the mistake is, when they look at this expression, what you do is you directly write this 1 minus x raised to power, let's say if you write 21, you'll write this as 21c0 minus 21c1x plus 21c2x square and so on till minus 21c21 x raised to power 20. And then you put x as 0. But when you put x as 0, see, in the right hand side you won't get what is required. Why? Because till 21 c10 it will be okay. Next term will be minus 21 c11. Next term will be plus 21 c12 minus 21 c13, and this term will cancel out what? The term before this one. This term, okay, this term will cancel out this term will cancel out the term before this one, this term will cancel out the term before this. So this will yield nothing, but this will yield you 0. So this approach is not enough. This approach is not the right one to get to the answer of this one. Okay, so what else we can do is, what we have is 21c0. I can write this as what? 20c0, right? Both the values are equal to 1. So for first term I have written 21c0 as 20c0. Okay, for the next term, that is 21c1. Now how many of you remember the property ncr plus 1 is equal to n plus 1 cr plus 1? All of you remember this property or not? So if I try to write 21c1 in terms of two terms, how can I write? I can write this as 20c0 plus 20c1. Yes or no? This will be nothing but what? 21c1. Next, moving on to the next term, 21c2. Again I'll use the same thing. What I can write is 20c1 plus 20c2. Yes or no? This will again be nothing but it will be 21c2. NCR plus 1 will give you n plus 1 CR plus 1 and so on, right? Next one will be 20c2 plus 20c3 and so on, right, till the last term. Last term is what? 21c10. So you can write this as what? 20c9 plus 20c10. This will be nothing but your 21c10. Now if you closely look at the terms, this term will cancel out this term will cancel out this will cancel out this will cancel out this, and so on. Only what will remain is just the last term, and that is nothing but 20c10. This will be your required answer for the given series. Clear? Okay, so let's have a look at the next question. Next question is the number of all positive integral values of alpha. You have to find the number of all possible positive integral values of alpha. So first thing, what we have is alpha is positive integer, okay, for which the roots of quadratic equation 6x square minus 11x plus alpha equal to 0 are rational numbers. What we have to do is we have to check whether the roots of this equation are rational numbers or not. So first let's try to write down what will be the roots. We'll use the quadratic formula. X is equal to minus b plus or minus under root of b square. If I write b square, that will be 121 minus 4ac, that will be 24 alpha divided by 2a, that will be 12. Yes, this is what the values of x that you'll get. Okay, now for this expression to be a rational number, what do you need is, we need this value which is inside the under root to be a perfect square. Whatever is inside the under root, if this comes out to be a perfect square, this under root will get eliminated and we'll get something upon something, right? We'll get a rational number. But if the radical sign is still there, it will be a rational number. So what do we want is, we want 121 minus 24 alpha as a perfect, we need this as a perfect square. So for that, what do is, we try substituting the values of alpha, different values of alpha. Okay, what are we given is alpha is a positive integer, so we'll start substituting alpha as 1. If I substitute alpha as 1, what do we get here? 121 minus 24, that will be 97, which is not a perfect square, so alpha cannot be 1. If you substitute alpha is equal to 2, what do we get? 121 minus 48, that will give you what? 73. That will give you 73. That is again not a perfect square. If I substitute alpha as 3, what do we get? 121 minus 72. What will this yield you? This will yield you 49. Is this a perfect square? Yes, this is a perfect square. So alpha is equal to 3 will be a possibility. Again, if I substitute alpha is equal to 4, what do we get? 121 minus 24 into 4, 96. This will give you what? 25, which is again a perfect square. So alpha is equal to 4 will also be a possibility. Yes or no? Again, if I substitute alpha as 5, what do we get? We get 121 minus 24 into 5, that will be 120, which will give you 1. This is again a perfect square. So alpha is equal to 5 will also be a possibility. Yes or no? Yes. So what are the values of alpha that we are getting for it to be a rational number? We are getting alpha as 3, 4 and 5. Hence the number of possible values will be 3 possible values of alpha for which the roots of this quadratic equation will be rational numbers. Okay. So let's move on to the next question. Okay. Next question is again from quadratic equation. Okay, if you what you should do is, you should pause the video and you should try it once by yourself. I'll solve it for you no matter what, but once I want you all to pause the video and try it, give it a try yourself. Until and unless you try, you won't learn. Okay, so moving on to the question, we have to find the value of mu such that sum of squares of roots of quadratic equation. So we have quadratic equation x square 3 minus mu x plus 2 minus mu equal to 0. Yes, what I have done is I have taken mu to the left hand side, and let's say its roots are alpha and beta. What we have is, we are having its roots as alpha and beta. Now what we want is, we have to find mu such that sum of squares of roots of this quadratic equation. That is, sum of squares will be what? Alpha square plus beta square. And what you want to find is, you have to find the least value, or what you want to find is, we have to find the minimum value of alpha square plus beta square. So for that, first we'll try to find out what is alpha square plus beta square. Okay, in the relation between roots and coefficient, all of you know what is alpha square plus beta square. You can write this as alpha plus beta whole square minus 2 alpha beta. Yes or no? This, if you open this will be alpha square plus beta square plus 2 alpha beta minus 2 alpha beta, cancels this out and it will give you alpha square plus beta square. Okay, now what will be alpha plus beta? Sum of roots, and sum of roots will be minus b by a. So from here what you will get is mu minus 3, a is 1. So alpha plus beta you are getting as mu minus 3. Minus 2 times alpha into beta. Alpha into beta will be what? C by a, that will be 2 minus mu. So this is the value of alpha square plus beta square. So if you open this you will get as mu square plus 9 minus 6 mu minus 4 plus 4 mu. Yes or no? Or if I simplify it further, you will get mu square minus 2 mu plus 5. Okay, now we have to find the minimum value of this expression. This is again a quadratic expression. And how do we find the minimum value of any quadratic expression? We try to make it in form of a perfect square. So mu square minus 2 mu plus 5. Okay, we have to find the minimum value of this expression. What we'll try to do is, we'll try to make perfect square. So I can write this as what? Mu minus 1 whole square. If I write mu minus 1 whole square, what are the terms that I'll get? Mu square plus 1 minus 2 mu. So what else is remaining is 4. See, this equation, this expression and this expression, they are same. What I have done here is, I have just made it into a perfect square. Right. Now if this is a perfect square, its minimum value will be 0. This will always be greater than equal to 0. So minimum value of this whole expression when will get? When this will become 0. So minimum value will come out as 4. Now what was asked in the question is, you have to find mu for which the expression is having minimum value. So when will the expression be having minimum value? When mu minus 1 is 0, or you can say when mu is equal to 1. Clear? So this is almost a mains level question. It won't qualify as an advanced. It's not that tough. It's a mains level question. Okay, so in this session we had these 6 questions, and I'll be coming to you with more such sessions with the different varieties of questions, with new questions, some tough questions, some easy questions, based on mains and advanced levels. Okay, and I hope you are enjoying my videos. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel. Stay home, stay safe, all the best, and thank you very much.